No, 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 the fat man. Hi, and welcome to the Ruby Tuesday.
Hi, and welcome to the Ruby Tuesday.
No.
Hi, and welcome to the Ruby Tuesday. Ruben couldn't be here today, so Fat Man is gonna do the review for Unknown Origins. It's Madrid 2019. A serial killer is spreading chaos. Anonymous people with no apparent connection are being murdered while imitating the first appearances of the most famous superheroes. Unknown Origins is directed by David Galindo, and he directed a film called Pixel in 2013, which was quite well received. So I was interested to see what this film was actually going to be about. This film is equal parts Batman, is equal parts Seven, is equal parts what the hell is this film? It's an amalgamation mashup of multiple films, and it does feel like it's trying to be too many films. It does pull on these genres. It's an interesting premise, and I quite like it for what it's trying to do. I like the idea, I like the premise, I like the story. The thing is, it's very weird. It's very gory in places. It's very gory, like Seven would be. Even the intro, which I felt was weird because I knew what this film was from the trailer. Like you expect it to be a weird soups film, but the intro just screamed serial killer film, which is exactly what this is. You have a cop and I guess a geek teaming up together to try and figure out why someone is killing people, like superheroes or in the vein of superheroes from comic books. And so you have this weird amalgamation teen detective story, and then you have this kind of origin story of a superhero and a supervillain as well. And so you have those things mixing in together. Where the film does go awry is that there are certain characters that relationships that form that aren't quite believable. So you have the captain, the female captain, which is fine and young, but she does things that you just don't believe a captain would do. She breaks all the rules all the time, and I feel like this could be fresh and quirky, except for the relationships that's formed in that, and I didn't quite buy that. So if you take this film too seriously, then I think you're not going to enjoy it. But if you put all that aside and just realize it is kind of a quirky, tongue-in-cheek superhero film with a Seven vibe, then you might enjoy it. There were moments where I was like, oh, that's really, that is for the geek. There is even a cameo of Stan Lee that isn't Stan Lee. It's obviously meant to be Stan Lee, but it's not Stan Lee. So that was weird. It was like, you're not saying that's him, but it totally looks like him, and it's done like a Stan Lee cameo would be. Also, if you get to the end of the film and you were somewhat invested, then do stay to the end of the credits because there's another scene that I don't know that many people will see because not a lot of people watch the credits. So there is that. I do like the acting. I thought the acting was fine from the two main protagonists, the cop and the son, who is, I would say, he's very typical. You know what he is. If you say it's the guy that owns a comic book store, and then what pictures up in your mind? So a geek that's chubby, that knows everything about the geek worlds of comic books, lore, and superheroes, supervillains, all of that. He is exactly that character that you expect him to be. And then you have the cop who's replacing the retired cop, and it ticks all the boxes of what you expect it to be. Where this film is different is where it melds those themes. And I think that is the really the kind of driving force behind the film, and the only thing that really saves it because it doesn't do anything else new, apart from the melding of those characters. One of the a little bit of trivia for you for this film: they made a comic book store in this film, and it had all real comics, all real statues, things that you would find in a real comic book store, but it is a set. And it was so believable that the director had trouble filming in it because so many people went to the store wanting to buy cops, especially young kids, and they wouldn't leave. So he had trouble shooting in those scenes because kids and adults wanted to go there to buy it, which I thought was hilarious. The set designers did such a good job at creating this set of a comic book store that people really believed it was real.
One thing I should mention is the subtitles. I did switch between English and dubbing. I thought the dubbing was okay, but if you read the subtitles and the dubbing, you'll see how different the scripting and the dialogue versions are. It almost changes the meaning of the story. There's a lot of lines that they read that is different to what you're reading if you're listening to the original language, which I would suggest that you always do. But if you can't handle reading subtitles, then do watch the dubbing, although I do find it interesting to see how different it is with subtitles and where they go with the stories. It sometimes feels like, because you can't get the exact meaning from translation in languages, it does feel a little bit different. I really don't know what to do with this film. It feels very confused. I enjoyed it, but I do feel like it was a little bit long in the tooth. I also feel like it's been done before, although the mashes of the genres was interesting. I like where it goes in the end, but it also feels very slapstick. It's like they're taking bits of like Batman comics, like Flash comics, so many hero stuff that they're trying to do, which ends up being a bit tongue-in-cheek. That also feels very Batman and Robin or Batman Forever, that kind of feel to the superhero genre film that aren't really that widely respected. And then you have this kind of serial killer with the prosthetics and makeup that are actually very good and very gory. So you're going to have like one set of demographic that wants to watch it because it's a superhero film, but it's definitely not catered at a young generation of superhero followers. And then you have another demographic where it is a serial killer film, and actually there's a story in there. I feel like if they concentrated on that and made it less tongue-in-cheek and less superhero-y, and they followed the serial killer who had a fixation on that and just stuck to the guns in that way, the story would have been really interesting. Or you just gone down the completely campness of it. There's two films in here, and I'm not sure which one I like better. So I'm going to give this a middle of the path C. C rating, because I can't think of, it's not terrible, although it is terrible in places, but it's also really good in places. It really has a weird balance.
En mi puta vida.
I did like the attention to detail to the superhero stuff, the costumes that you see in the film. It was weird to me that the captain was dressed in interesting costumes a lot of the time. There are character flaws here, but there are also characters that I really like. So it's really a down the road middle. It's up to you whether you're going to take it seriously and then not enjoy it, or actually just put it to the side and realize what this film is actually doing. So let me know in the comments below, what did you think of this film? Were you excited about it? Had you even heard of it? Unknown Origins. I'd be interested to see what they do with this in the future, if there's a possibility of getting a sequel. I'd be surprised if it does though. Thanks so much for watching this Batman review, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.